This is Mara. Hi. So what I was going to do was going to show you guys some of the functions that we can use through the WTS group. So like particularly the search function, which I think was something that a lot of people are interested in, and it will obviously become a lot more robust as people build their profile. I can show you briefly some of the things that you can do to edit your own profile. I think a lot of it is very self-explanatory, but I do want to show you the trick that I kind of figured out to add publications with a bit of a shortcut. Does that sound okay?
Okay.
Yep. All right. So this is, right now you see me logged into my LinkedIn profile. So if I want to look at groups, I actually have a couple different groups. They appear under interest on the current LinkedIn main site. And there are a couple groups that are open groups. The only closed group that I have is the WTS. So the functions that we'll see are a little bit different. It says, as you can see right there, this group is members only. So when I go into the group, I have some extra management functions. But one of the great things we have here is discussion. So this discussion function, if I were to put in a question or something to pose to the group or the entire WTS membership, it can be anything regarding what someone might want to see in terms of a speaker at a meeting, or it can be asking, posing some sort of academic question or some advice, anything that you might want to see people talk about or get others' opinions. You can even do a poll, and anyone can start a discussion or poll for all of the members. If I wanted to see who our current members are in this group, and again, you can tell it's a closed group because there's a little block up here, but there's 20 people who are currently members of the group, and these are all people that are WTS members as well. And so the discussions is one function, but I think one of the functions that most of us were particularly interested in was the idea of a search, where you can look within the WTS community to find people for something that you're interested in, someone to give an opportunity to, someone who might be looking for a job, or you might want to speak somewhere or refer someone to that individual. So the way that I found best to do this is to go into Advanced under the search, and actually right now it's just go under Search and then go under Groups here, over here, and then click WTS because it's a private, a closed group. It doesn't appear there right away. And then I go to Advanced, and so it's the Advanced Search screen. Oh, wait, sorry, I'm not sure why it's doing this. Just a second. It's just showing a different group right now, but I just did this a moment ago. Okay. Groups. Click Women in Thoracic Surgery. And, okay, it's brought up everyone. And I can go within the function, and now I'm in the Advanced People Search. I'm going to unclick all these connections because I don't really care if someone is someone I'm personally connected with on an individual level. I just want to look within our group. I want to click on Women in Thoracic Surgery. And then I can fill in anything over in these areas on the left-hand side to help find people that I might be interested in. So this is helpful in when you fill out your own profile, what kinds of words you might want to pop up in your profile if there's a major area of research or major subject of interest to you, and that word isn't anywhere in your entire profile, it won't pop up as a keyword. So, for example, let's say I'm interested in someone that I can refer to someone else who does lung cancer in the postal code 77001. If I do the search, I find that we have someone that I can refer to. So Shanda Blackman comes up. So if I were trying to do something different and I wanted someone who could speak about something related to mitral valve disease, and I search among our group members, I find one person who has mitral valve surgery listed as one of their keywords, so something that they're interested in, or something that's a particular specialty there. If we wanted to do something different, for example, if you're looking for people of a certain level in their careers for some other specific reason, for giving a talk or something of that sort, I can go under Title and search for Assistant Professor, and I can find all the people in our WTS group who are currently assistant professors. And if I want to take it one step beyond that, let's say I'm looking for a congenital surgeon who's an assistant professor, and I can still bring someone up. So it actually becomes much more robust the more people that we have that join the LinkedIn group, and of course the more people add to their own profile. Do most of you already have a LinkedIn login of some sort, or no?
Yeah, but I've never figured out how to use it.
Okay. So if I were starting fresh, and I were to log out, basically get a screen, and you can either do this, join today, where you just create a profile through here. Otherwise, you probably received an email invitation to join our group, and you can also follow that link and join LinkedIn. Either way, the one issue is that if you join LinkedIn with an email different than the email to which we sent you the invitation to join our group, you just have to let me know, and I'll send you a new invitation to the same email account, or you can request to join our group, and I can grant you permission. But because it is a closed group, if the two email addresses don't match, it won't be automatically connected. But I think I'm ready to remember. I can log in here, and I can show you how you go about editing your profile. And there are a number of things, elements that we thought were helpful when you do create your profile. I'm going to bring something else here for you to see. Can you guys all see this now? This is a list that you probably all received in an email of some elements that we thought would be helpful for you to include when you do create your profile. So when you go through that, there were just some little pieces of advice about how in your summary statement you want to try to include any words that you might want to have show up in a keyword search, whatever that might be. An example listed here were heart failure or lung volume reduction surgery for Lynn heart, whatever may apply to you. The skills and expertise is something that falls into LinkedIn, and we suggested breaking it into two groups. Skills where you list specific procedures to perform, and expertise where you list specific disease processes or patient populations that you care for. You may also choose those research interests. But this is where we kind of suggested tailoring it to our group of people. Education and employment are, again, fairly self-explanatory. And organizations, certifications, we have suggestions for how to go about doing all these things. But I'll just show you the basic way that you edit these fields, and then I want to show you the special shortcut that we figured out for doing for looking at publications. So when you go into, so this is my main login site, and actually this shows me things that are going on not only with the WTS group, but other people that I'm linked with on LinkedIn, the people that I know from elsewhere that I've personally chosen to connect with. So when you do this on LinkedIn, if you choose to not be involved other than women in thoracic surgery, your group, when you click under the group, it will look exactly the same. It will look exactly the same as if you were looking at your main page. But for me, I have a number of additional connections the other way, too. So you may find this useful just create for making other connections that you may want to hold outside of the women in thoracic surgery group. I already showed you how we go into interest, and you can look at this. Now, if you wanted to edit your own profile, I'm logged in. I go under Edit Profile, and this is the Edit page. So a lot of this is fairly self-explanatory. You just go in and edit, and you can change any of these fields however you may like. So this is my summary statement. Again, this is where you may want to include any keywords that are particularly relevant. Here you add positions, and it's actually pretty nice. You can search your institution. I obviously didn't add these logos myself. It kind of just figures it out for you. You put in any certifications, so obviously any board certifications you may have if you're additionally critically care boarded or anything else, you can throw those kinds of things in. Again, a lot of this is very self-explanatory, but I want to show you the issue of publications that came up, because this is a great shortcut that we found. It's still a little bit laborious, but it's way better than adding the publications one at a time. So I'm using a Mac, and so this is Safari, and you run into the same problem with both Safari on a Mac or Internet Explorer on a PC, which is if you want to add a publication, and you click Add here, it wants you to add the title, publication, all of these details, and description is usually where you put the abstract, and then add each author one at a time. So for those of you who have the outstanding resumes that I know you do, going through and adding each of these individual publications would be incredibly time-intensive. Yet at the same time, if you have your publications included in your profile, then it can be particularly helpful in bringing up keywords when people are looking for someone to help with something. So the shortcut that I found, some of you may have Firefox on your computer as a second browser. If you do not, you need to download Firefox to take this shortcut. And in order to do that, all the instructions how to go about this, if you go back to this email, and we can resend this again, there was this link. Click here, and clicking here basically brought up this shortcut that I found for getting all of your publications to be added by simply adding the PubMed ID. If you follow the instructions on this site where you download Firefox and then you click on each of these two links, download a couple of plugins that make Firefox have the ability to just use PubMed ID and then it adds everything. So here I have, this is a Firefox screen. So I showed you if I was trying to edit a publication on Safari, it wants me to put in all of these details that would be incredibly time intensive. If I open up my Firefox screen and try to do something very similar, edit my profile, and go to publications here. Now I've already put in this plugin for Firefox, and you'll see there's an additional screen here above title. There's an additional field, PubMed ID, whereas I didn't have that field on Safari to put in, so I had to enter all of these details. If I don't want to enter all those details, I go in through Firefox, and there's this new field where I can just enter PubMed ID. So I have in this other, I brought up this other field where this is, I've just gone to PubMed and searched for myself, and I'm going to copy and paste the PubMed ID from one of my publications, and then I go back to Firefox here, back to Firefox here, and now I've got this field, PubMed ID, and I can just paste that PubMed ID, enter the search function. You enter the PubMed ID here and click search, and it actually brings up all of the details. See, that was how I got a number of publications in, and I know that I worked with a couple other people who were able to get in a number of publications using this field where you download these plugins to Firefox, and you can just search by PubMed ID, and then it will bring up all of your publications. It'll fill in all this information automatically for you. But then the rest of these elements that you can edit, again, are fairly self-explanatory. You can fill in publications, and there are a lot of elements of the LinkedIn profile which aren't particularly relevant to us that I think is not necessarily recommended that are absolutely mandatory for this. You can fill them in, of course, if you want. A lot of you are involved in volunteering, all sorts of other different things. But some of the other elements that come up on the right-hand side may or may not be appropriate, but we hope that the list of topics that we kind of gave in this recommendation of how to go about filling out your profile would be helpful and help you come up with some of the keywords that may be necessary in order to really bring up things appropriately in the search. I know a couple extra people came in. I don't know if you all got to see the way that we kind of searched within the group to find people who meet whatever needs you're looking for. I don't know if that answers some of the questions people have, or if there's additional questions, anything else I can show you.
Oh, hi, Mara. This is Christina. I joined in a few minutes late, so I missed the beginning. But I wanted to ask you this. I mean, I get these emails join on LinkedIn, and various people invite me to join. So, you know, when you join once, are you joined with everyone? Or if somebody invites you, then you join with them? How does that work?
So if you follow the invitation that we sent you, you will have a LinkedIn profile, and people can search for you, but you do not have to choose to be linked with them. So if you were to search for someone that you're not personally connected with and isn't in our group, then you can request to join them. But someone who you have not agreed to be linked with cannot access any of your personal information. They can't even access your last name or your picture. It might show up with your initial and your zip code or something like that if people search for you. So no one's really going to be able to find you and to the point of getting any of your detailed information unless you agree to be linked with them. So you can choose if you want to be have a profile that's only seen by other members of WTS, or if you would like to be connected with other people in either in medicine or outside, that you just choose to be connected with as well. It's totally up to you. But
Is there a function that lets you choose who can view your profile?
Essentially, because I know on Facebook you can pick that kind of thing, but on LinkedIn, the only people who really can view your profile are the people that you've already connected with. So there's really no. You can go to your account, but there aren't a lot of details that is just where they give you options to see more, to be able to see other things. If you are viewing other people's profiles but they're not connected with you, they can see you as, if you're searching for someone and then they want to know who's looking at my site, it will just say someone in such and such field and such zip code. If you're not connected with them, they can't find you. So it's not really like Facebook where you can say, okay, friends of friends can view me. Essentially, if you choose not to link with someone, then they can't really view your profile in detail. You can see a list of the people that the people you're connected with are linked to, but you can't see any details about them unless they agree to link to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Okay, so I'm just sitting here looking at this, and I just searched women in thoracic surgery and clicked the join thing. So then what happens if I pursue that? You get an email and you have to approve that, or what happens?
Yeah, if you try to join and it's not the email that I sent your invitation to initially, like if your LinkedIn account is through a different email address, then I'll just get an email that says someone tried to join our group, and then I either approve it or don't approve it. And if you try to join our group and it's through the email address that I sent your invitation to in the first place, you should be able to just join without any problem. Well, we can see. So what we can do is we can go to our group and look at our members, and so it must have been the same email address. Because even if you lost the email,
it is the same email address, yeah.
Yep. Okay. So if it's the same email address, you don't even have to still have the email. As long as it's the same email, then you'll be listed. And so now you're here, and so then we can search for you within the group as well. And we had 28 members a moment ago, and now we have 29. So that's how you became part of the group just now. So that allows us to now search for you.
Now, a lot of these people only have their last initial, not their first name. How did they do that?
The reason why it's doing that right now is because, because the people that I am either directly connected to or someone that I'm directly connected to is directly connected to, I can see their full name.
Okay.
If I'm not personally connected to them or someone that I'm personally connected to is connected to them, I see their first name with the last initial. So, but it still doesn't matter because and that's the way other people would see you too, if they're not like a direct connection of yours or a second connection, and you see the 1 and the 2 here. So these first are people that I've been specifically connected with. Second are people that are connected with them that I'm not connected to, and then the people where it's just their name and their initial. But it doesn't change the fact that I can find all of those people. For example, when you recall when I went into the search function, and I was able to bring up other people within our group that I'm not connected with, and it still allowed it to work. For example, when I looked for, I did that, and then I looked for women in thoracic surgery member who is related to something congenital and is an assistant professor, I think was what I tried to do. And it brought up somebody who's not a first or a second connection of mine. And again, it just shows up, then it just says group because it's someone in the same group as me, but it's not a first or second connection. It just shows the initial. But then I can choose to either connect with this person individually. I can send an email through LinkedIn, so I could click on this and say, that's interesting. Use this email function, you apparently have to pay the fee to upgrade. So that I was not aware of, but perhaps that is a learning thing for us because as an administrator of the group, I can actually connect with, link to all these people. First, I guess the obvious thing is, let's say I were not an administrator, but I was searching within our group for a congenital surgeon who's an assistant professor. The very easy thing that I would do would just be click connect, and I personally connect with her, and then she would see, okay, another member of WTS wants to connect with me individually, and then when she sees I want to connect with her, I would say, hi, I'm looking for a congenital surgeon who's an assistant professor to give a talk about blah, 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 So it's actually, I mean...
And she would get an email telling her that she had a LinkedIn message, probably. Right?
Yeah. And so another option is, right now there's 28 of us on here, and hopefully at some point there'll be, 100 or more, WTS members that are...
Hey, listen, I remember when I got excited that there were 6.
Yeah. So, I mean, and honestly, right now we have nearly 500 people following us on Facebook, but they're not members of WTS necessarily, and if they were, then they could theoretically all join the LinkedIn group. But what one could do would be to just look at our entire group and say, I want to personally connect with everyone in our entire group. So once you're in there and you're looking at the group, you could theoretically just go to look within the group and say, okay, right now, here are all the people in our group. Just real quick, while I can see everybody, I could just go through and connect to each one of these people just so that they are personal connections. That'd be another option, would be to just become a personal connection of all of everyone. But still, let's say you aren't personally connected with every single member of WTS. You can search within the group, find someone you're looking for, and then choose to connect with that person for that specific purpose. And when you connect with them, you can even include a message in it. So you could even include a message that says, I am looking for someone who does minimally invasive esophagectomies in your zip code, or whatever it may be that you're looking for. When you connect with them, you can do that, and you've sought out someone who is a female in thoracic surgery, and it gives us the opportunity to really promote other women in the field, so that you're searching within our own database, essentially, of members of WTS for whatever purpose you're looking for.
Hey, Mara, is there a way to sort of organize your group by, say, all the residents and then all the, assistant professors or all the congenital heart surgeons, or is it just you just do a search every time you want to organize?
I think you just do a search every time, which hopefully isn't too burdensome. But there are other things you can do, like you can search by other elements, but I think the easiest thing to do is you just search within the overall group, and then you do an advanced search where you click on our group, and then you can, with the postal code and then being able to look for keywords and titles, I think you can actually accomplish a heck of a lot. The keywords are particularly useful because they bring up anybody who has research in that area, who has a paper published in that area, listed as part of their expertise. The keywords pull from anywhere in your entire profile. So you just have to make sure that if there's something you're specifically interested in, if you particularly care about, a particular element of your research and it doesn't appear there, someone's not going to necessarily pull you up. So make sure that any keyword you'd want to be associated with you is somewhere on your profile. And then, so I would say the majority of ways that we would use the search function within our group is for keywords that are within certain postal codes or keywords within title. So you might say, I'm looking for, an assistant professor with such and such keyword. Or I'm looking for someone who has such and such interests that lives in this area. Or you might just say, gosh, I'm looking for anybody who's done any research on EGFR mutations in our entire, group of people. And, yeah, I guess nobody has that listed as something yet at this point. But, you may just be looking for something where you don't care where they live. You want someone to give a talk. You're not really particular about exactly what level they're at. Then that may be the way that you'll, look for it. So,
yes, this is very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thanks, Mara and Meg, for setting it up.
No problem. Dan, if I can help anybody with their individual questions, searches, account setup, I'm more than happy to do that.
So.
Great.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks, you guys. Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mara.
Bye-bye.
Bye.